Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Alho here with KissAnalog.com. Today what I want to do is I want to talk about high-end multimeters and what you get for your money and why you need one. If you're the kind of guy, if you're the kind of guy that works in a plant where you know you need one, you already know what you need. No, I mean, but if you are working around category 3, category 4, where you're dressing, in the gear, the protective gear, the gloves, the clothing, face protection, ear protection, even head protection, all that stuff, then you need a heavy duty meter, something that's reliable and safe. And it's reliable and safe if it's been tested by an independent laboratory, right? Which, Flukes typically do. Other meters do as well, some other meters, but the low cost meters, some of those don't. And so, you rely on Fluke. It's got a reputation. Well, there's another meter that I want to talk about. It's the FLIR. And this meter, it's really impressive. Now, FLIR is a company that makes the IR stuff, all that really cool camera stuff, thermal camera gear. Looking at their stuff, I noticed they were making multimeters, and so I looked at the price thinking it was going to be really high, but surprised me, it's actually much more affordable. For comparison, this guy right here, list price is right around $300 on Amazon. Okay, this is a DM92 right here, DM92, and this guy right here is a 79. It's been replaced by the 179, which really what they did is added the hold and min-max button, and then also the backlight button on it. And so the 179 you can buy on Amazon for $300, same price as this. This is a 6,000 count meter, the Fluke 179, not the 70. I mean, I'm going to pretend this is a 179, okay? The 179 is not all that much different than the 79, but anyway, let's just say 6,000 count meter, $300. The other thing you get with all these nice high-end meters is TrueRMS reading. This meter, TrueRMS out to 20 kilohertz is what it's rated for, okay? This one's only 1 kilohertz. That's not much better than some of these lower cost meters. The 189 has been replaced by the 289, and the 289 is $462 on Amazon. That's like 50% more than this. We're going to look at it, but you're going to see that this guy compares really well with this guy. In fact, if I had to choose one or the other, I think I'd choose the FLIR, honestly, and you'll see why. But the 189 I actually liked. I didn't like it when it went to 289. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but this is a really nice meter, of course, but just using it, anyway, there's a lot of menus, and it has an on-off button, which I think is kind of weird in a way, instead of turning on and off the dial. So you can turn it on and off in any one of the modes, which I don't know if that's the best thing, but anyway, so the price on those things, now I don't have a Fluke 87 up here, which a lot of people would say, oh, I want the Fluke 87. I would much rather have this than the Fluke 87. No question, hands down, for sure. I use Fluke 87s through the decades, and when the Fluke 87 came out, it replaced another high-end Fluke meter, which had decibel reading, and the Fluke 87 did not, and I didn't understand why it didn't. This one does. This one does a lot of stuff. If you're an HVAC guy, if you're an electrician, I think some of the high-end features you want would be in this. It has the low Z feature, which the Flukes do as well. But the one thing this guy has that they don't have is the variable frequency drive filter. That's where you filter out all the high frequencies. So if you're reading 60 hertz stuff, off 50, 60 hertz, if you're outside the U.S., or 400 hertz, around military stuff, or certain kind of generators that have 400 hertz. Anything above that you want to filter out. Well, that's what that does. So let's take a closer look at this guy. Let's open it up. Let's bring the camera over here and open this thing up. And I think when you see the insides of this guy, which I've seen the insides of one of these before, so when you see the insides of these guys, and you're used to seeing people review Flukes, I think you're going to become a believer. And the form factor, it's actually more similar to this Habo test, the way it has that nice grip. So, you know, pretty cool. It also has a flashlight function, which, you know what, we're going to have to show you the flashlight function. And backlight's beautiful. So yeah, I have seen this meter before. And so what do you get with the high-end meters? TrueRMS, you get independent lab testing. This is UL tested. It's Cat 4, Cat 3, so you're going to be safe using this. For most of us on the bench and that, we don't need that kind of stuff. But this is also a great bench meter, I think. So, you know, like these guys are meant to be. These high-end Flukes are meant to be kind of an all-around meter. But, you know, yeah, great meter. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about. One thing that's not talked a lot about is the IP rating. The IP is, what is it, ingress protection rating? I might be making that up. Maybe I forgot. No, I think it's ingress protection rating. It's called IP, and then you'll see 2 digits after that. Well, okay, just for instance, this Fluke right here is an IP 30. So the first number 3, okay, if I remember right, that's 2.5 millimeter. So if you have a probe 2.5 millimeters, you can't stick, someone turn off, if you can't stick anything larger than a 2.5 millimeter probe and touch, you know, get inside the meter. Okay, so that's the 3. The 0 means basically, so I'm sorry, the first digit is for particles, the second digit's for moisture. So 0 means really it has no rating or protection rating there. And also with the IP standard, you get a 2 meter drop. So I think they drop it in different, you know, so it drops on the different surfaces. And, you know, so yeah. Oh, that's this guy going off. And the other thing with the high-end meters, obviously, is you get, even with some of the low-end meters, you can hold a button down, turn them off, and turn off that automatic shut-off. But with the nicer high-end meters, that you can also have some variability between that. You don't have to completely shut it off. You can just change the time. So, you know, that's another thing you get with these high-end meters is you get the, you know, the option to do that kind of stuff and control the beep sound. You can turn off the beep, or I don't think you can make it quieter, but I think it's just on off on that function with pretty much any meter I think I've seen. Okay, so the IP thing. So a high-end meter like this guy has IP rating of 42. So 4 is 1 digit above this, meaning it goes down to, I believe, a 1 millimeter, you know, probe. You can't stick more than a 1 millimeter probe. I'm guessing that'd be the distance between, you know, here and here, because, yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but I'm guessing it's between those 2 surfaces, because nothing else looks like I could stick a probe in there. But, and then, so, and that's a 42, so the 2 means that it actually has some water protection. A 1 means that you can get some falling, it's like light falling rain. It's not like you're going to dump a bucket of water on it, but, you know, light falling droplets straight with it vertical, okay? That's a 1. With a 2, which this guy's rated for, it can be, I believe it's 15 degrees. It's just a slight angle, so you can actually get some, you know, condensation running down the face of it. So that's what that is. Okay, this guy here, this bad boy here, 54. That's pretty impressive. A 5 means that you can't get anything but some dust in here, and not enough dust to, you know, mess up the operation. So the next number above it is a 6, which means it's basically hermetically sealed and means that nothing gets in. So a 5 is pretty darn good. Now, okay, so the 4 for moisture, that means that, okay, what's a 4? A 4 is, so this guy can have a little bit of water on the front because it's a 2. A 3 means you can splash water at it, and a 4 means you can splash water at any angle, you know. So I think the next level above a 5 is a 6, which I think that's submersion. So basically, you you know, you can get this pretty wet. If you're outside getting rained on, running through, splashing through water, trying to get out of the rain, this guy's going to be okay. Once you get dry, you can go take measurements again. You're not going to worry about water inside it. So the IP rating, important, you know, because that also carries that drop test, right? So, you know, we know the Flukes are tough. Well, they've got some competition on the block. These guys, I would have liked to have bought one, but they're kind of expensive. But it has the IR meter built inside, so I opted for this lower cost guy over here. But I would have liked to have had one of these with the IR. That would have been cool, but maybe someday. That would be the meter to get it if you're an HVAC guy or working in an industrial facility, you know, oil plant, something like that, where you got motors and things like that, and you don't want to, you know, you want to take a thermal reading, making sure that everything's okay. That would be really cool. Here on the bench, it's really cool. When I power up a circuit, I want to make sure that things not getting too hot, that there's not a thermal runaway before I can stop it. Anyway, maybe next time. But yeah, that, oh, I would have had to spend this kind of money. Now actually Fluke has some with the IR cameras too. I think they bought their competitor like 15 years ago, and they're putting the thermal stuff in here, and these guys went the other way. They started off the thermal cameras and they went to the multimeter world. So I think they're doing a great job. And from over there you can probably see that white mark on that dial. You know, some people complain that there's only this little dot, and they'll take, and this one doesn't even have a dot. They'll take fingernail polish or something. Myself, I haven't had a problem with that, but from there you can see there's a big line plus a big dot right there. So pretty cool. I think they've listened to people and they've done a good job building this. Let's open it up, get into this thing. All right, guys, let's do it. Hey, by the way, yeah, this meter here I'm giving away at Father's Day. Okay, if you're a Patreon, you stand a chance of winning this guy. I've only got you know, a couple handfuls of guys. I think you can count them on both hands. So there's not a lot of people. I'm not sure how many I got right now, honestly, but anyway, small group of people you're competing with, and it costs as little as $1 a month. There's my little pitch there. Okay, let's get into this thing. Alright, and this is what was in the package, but let me just show you the ISO TUV certificate. You know, buying a high-end meter, you get stuff like that, right? Now, I'm just going to show you some things in the manual real quick. It's a nice little simple manual if you read English. Like, there's UL listed. Warning statements. Talks about being careful with voltages over 25 or 35 volts. Talks about making sure you put it in the right, you know, selection mode before taking readings. A bunch of other things. It'll give you this caution with high voltage. 40,000 count, 0.05% accuracy, P code, dB 99 record, you know, records that you can record different readings. Okay, here's the category 3, category 4 rating, and here's kind of a guide for that, what's on the meter. And that's the display, all the different segments on it. Here's here's the low Z, some of the things you might not be as familiar with. Talks about all these different things, the flashlight, the backlight. Okay, now here's kind of interesting. They have the low Z, the high voltage protection over 30 volts, we'll see that, and automatic mode. Now this is a max reading, if you see that, or a min reading, or an average reading. Okay, see these icons across the bottom? You can select those with this menu button, with this guy right here. Alright, and then we go to the next page. Now this is not max, this is peak, or that's peak minimum. Here's a hold. There's a lock, you can lock the meter up. Yeah, I just wanted to point out some of these things. Here's that VFD. That's the low pass filter mode. There's a min max average icon, the peak mode icon. And here's your 4,000 or 40,000 count selection mode and decibels. And there's your recording mode where you can record up to 99 points. Remember the 93, the DM93 can do, I think it's 20,000. So that's really the logging meter with the Bluetooth. Okay, just going to go through this really quick just so you can look at the freeze and look at the page if you want to. And then here's some extended functionality, all these things. So I'll just kind of breeze over this so you can look at it. Here's a relative mode. If you don't use that, that can be handy. Okay, and then there's the setup mode. Okay, then they go to the specifications. So one thing I want to point out is it goes up to 20 kilohertz. 5 to 20 kilohertz gives you the, you have these accuracies. So 20 kilohertz is nice. If you're doing audio work, frequency counter, you go up to 100 kilohertz. There's the VFD. That's for 40 to 400 hertz. It's going to filter above that. And your diode range, it says 2 volts, and maximum open circuit is 2.5 volts. Now the capacitance, this is impressive. It goes up to 40 millifarads, 40,000 microfarads. And then your temperature range is pretty extreme. They usually are. They're way more than I ever need. And sometimes I use some extreme temperatures, but not outside of that range. Okay, and then your warranty, limited lifetime. Yeah, they have great warranty. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn it on. Again, they got the rubberized thing. I like that fit, and really, nice click, nice positive action here. So, okay, let's go ahead, and now the probes, silicon leads, very nice. You can see how long they are. They're at least as long as the typical leads. Okay, we've got the little protective things that sometimes you might want to keep if you put them in a bag and you have tools that might crush these, but you got to be careful with that, right? Okay, now common, almost always this guy's going to go in here. And this guy, for most things, you're going to be in here or in current ranges. And usually you want to start at amps if you don't know what your current is, and then drop it down to milliamp once you know. Okay, very nice, firm fit. The probes are nice. They have these nice triangular kind of feature, which I find on some probes. And then the FLIR TA82. And this side has a CE 10 amp and UL listing. So that's nice. And the leads themselves have some writing on them. Okay, so if you can see that, it says 18 gauge, 6,000 volts, 150C. So nice silicon leads. See how flexible they are. And we got the little category 3, category 4 protective tips. They kind of clamp on down here. There's a ridge inside there. So they're nice. Oh, and look at that, gold tips, nice touch. Okay, if we're in voltage mode, and we come over to amps, it says wrong thing. See the white? That goes with these. And under here's blue, goes with everything else. So come over to either one of those. Then we come over here, and any one of the blues, it'll give us that same warning. Except for the off. So, yeah, it doesn't matter which one. So, yeah, you need to be over here. So that's nice. Okay, I brought the Fluke 289 over so you can kind of compare the screens. You can see the physical size difference, but yeah, just kind of compare the screens, kind of rocking them back and forth. You can see the Fluke has more of a glare, right? I don't know why. This is flat. The Fluke feels flat, but it might have a little bit of a crown to it. But yeah, the digits here are definitely larger. Let's go to dual display. Go to the same one, AC volts. Okay, so it automatically comes with the hertz up here. On this guy, you have to go through a menu and say, yeah, turn that on too. So there's your menu on this guy. This guy just automatically comes up with that. Alright, so the other thing I want to show you on the display is the backlight. So let's see, the Fluke has 2 settings. I'll do the Fluke first. There's the first setting. It's kind of hard to tell with all my lights in here. Okay, second setting. Okay, now we'll turn on this one. So even with my lights, you can see that the FLIR has very nice backlight. Let me turn away one of my lights. Yeah, see that? Now the Fluke, here let me toggle through. There's off, there's a first setting, here's a second setting. I kind of rocking it back and forth, so I'm not trying to play favoritism or anything, trying to see different angles. But yeah, you can see this display is very crisp. Very nice backlight. Okay, let me take you through the menu. It looks like I still need to peel off that thing, but I'm going to leave it on for a moment here. Anyway, yeah, so even with the little plastic decal on there, it's still pretty nice. Okay, let's go through that. Let's now see these icons. The one that's flashing, the VFD. If I click on that, I select it. Okay, I got the voltage, I got the little thing up here, and then it comes back up, showing me that I have that on. Okay, if I go to the next one, that's peak. If I click on that, okay, it's trying to do peak readings on nothing. Okay, if I do the up and down arrow, see how it goes from max peak to min peak. Let's go to the next one that's flashing right there. Okay, that's the max level. That's a little different than the peak, so that's just max levels. And same thing, up and down arrow changing. Okay, I'll just click on that, go to hertz, and whoops, I think I got to move over to hertz, so it's blinking. Then I select it, then it comes up to hertz. Guess there's no options for that. Okay, now let's go over to the next thing. Okay, that's the relative. Okay, so I could select that. Okay, let's click on that guy. Oh, this is the 40,000 counts or 4,000 counts. So I'm going to leave it on that. Then there's the decibels. So I can select that and then see the dB up here. Okay, this is the memory if I want to store something. So I push it, it says save, and see the little up and down arrows? Load, if I already did save something, or clear, back to save. And then here's your back arrow. And then here's the setup. Okay, automatic power off, set for 30. Okay, let's select that. Okay, I wonder how high it can go. Oh, okay, I think I already set that for 30. See, there's the 10-minute, that's how it normally comes. So then if I go to the right, it goes down. If I go to the left, it goes up. So I can hold it down, it goes all the way to 30 minutes. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, go back. Select that again. Okay, the next thing is backlight. So 5 minutes. Okay, maybe I'll go a little higher than that too. Maybe I'll go 10 minutes. So if I turn it on, it'll stay on 10 minutes and then turn off. And go back. Whoops, I keep on going back. Maybe I don't need to do that. Okay, backlight. Automatic hold is on. Continuity is 30. So I could change that to 50 ohms. Or I could say, no, I'm checking a cable and I want to make sure everything is less than 1 ohm. Well, I guess I can go down to 10. So it defaults to 30. I'm going to leave it at default for now. But it's nice you can set that. That's a nice feature. Okay, instead of going back, maybe I'll just push OK. Okay, if I push down, I go to reset. And then I can toggle through them without having to go backwards. Okay, so now I'm going to go back so I get back to the menu. Alright, so back to where we began, and that was pretty cool. Okay guys, so let's go to continuity, and we have 3 things in this group. So it starts off default with the ohms, mega ohms. So let's go to mode. Now I've got the little audible signal, so okay, about 0.3 is pretty standard. Now this meter has 10 counts per second, pretty darn fast. actually faster than the Fluke. I think this is 4 counts. So obviously gold plated is top of the line. Alright, if I'm at 5 ohms on this decade box, see how fast that is? It's like 10 times a second, so it catches it very quickly, right? Now if I go above 10 ohms, like 15 ohms, see how I have to hold it there for a little bit longer because it goes down to 2 readings a second. So if it's above 10 ohms, when you're doing a continuity test, you'll be able to tell because you get this little delay. It's just kind of a nice indicator that they put in there.